Playing the game of life, playing to win. Welcome in. Much love, Trav here. Let's talk about life, the victory conditions, the rules, lines of play, bouncing back from mistakes, big meta picture, something to think about. People have been asking me, now, Trav, now that you've been suspended from Pro Magic, what game are you going to play? Is it going to be Yu-Gi-Oh? Is it going to be Pokemon? Is it going to be chess? Come to Hearthstone. The game that I'm going to be focusing on is the game of life. This is the important game. I've been trying to draw as many lessons out from Magic as I can. That's the thing. Like, I want to learn and I want to sharpen my brain. But if it just stays in the game, to me, it's a waste of time. It's just play. I want to be able to take these lessons out and use it to sharpen my mind and sharpen my ability to play the game of life and to win. So, well, we're going to focus on that today, walk you through. You have an opportunity to learn as well. Look at your own life, look at your own goals, look at the rules, look at the victory condition. We may come back to this topic. We won't be able to cover everything. Won't be able to go we're just going to go real big picture, but basically we're all here. We're all here, right? You have your life. You're alive right now. And there is a victory condition to it. And you can define that. You can say, what's the purpose of life? That's the question, is what's the victory condition? If you don't know the purpose of life, you're going to have a very hard time winning. So you have to decide that for yourself. Basic idea of life likes to procreate. So maybe to have a family. It might be to have awesome relationship. It might be to have fun days, fun life. It might be to produce lots of things. It might be a mix of these things, right? You have to decide for yourself, though, for you, what the victory condition of life is. So you can have clarity in that. You know, you can look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, psychological, physiological, self-esteem, type safety needs. You look at health, wealth, love, happiness. You should have a list of victory condition down on paper. Goals. You have one victory condition or victory condition for the different spheres of your life. But if you don't know how to win, it's going to be very hard to win. So if you're asking what's the meaning of life, what's the purpose, just pick something and say, this looks like a good victory condition. The next thing you need to know is the rules. And there's a lot of rules. There's a lot of rules, and we're not going to be able to go into all the rules. I'll give you a few examples of the rules and how you can think and find out more. Here's an example of a rule. Money is our currency of stored value to exchange. There's lots of interesting rules with money. One of them is generally people are willing to exchange money for value. So the more people that you can help, the more money you make, the more stored value you have or currency you have, the more you can options you have to play with to get more value coming your way. So money is a tool that you play with along the way towards your victory condition. That's an example. You go into way more rules of money, or you go into other rules. Social. Another rule is that we tend to learn from people. So it really helps to have coaches and mentors or smart people people who can teach us along the way, give us a hand up, lift us up, and so on. Those are examples of rules. There's rules you need to know. There's rules of the body and the mind, rules of habit. There's rules that we are creatures of repetitive behaviors, and that we're rules of et cetera, et cetera. So understanding the rules, again, we can't cover every rule, but it has a lot to do with what is society, how does society work, right? How do social creatures work? How does business work? So you want to know the rules of life. A good way to go is to talk about this stuff, get content on this, read books on psychology, books on sociology, books on evolutionary psychology, evolution, information on business, and so on and so on. You want to know how people work, how society works, how the rules of the game work. Because if you don't know the rules of the game, you get thrown in jail for cheating, or you just miss out on great plays, miss out on great plays. So you need to know the victory conditions of the game of life. You also need to know the rules of the game of life. Once you have a good idea of the victory conditions and the rules, then you can start make plays. And here's where it gets interesting, because you don't just like Magic, it's not just individual plays, but lines to victory. Because sometimes in chess you sacrifice your queen in order to win, right? So you make awkward plays that actually move you along. Similarly in Magic, sometimes you make plays that kind of set yourself up, plays that aren't necessarily the best in a vacuum, but entice the opponent into a trap or help move you towards your ultimate goal. So you want to be able to look from a series of plays aligned from where you are to what your victory condition is within the rules of the game. It's not enough to, if you make just good plays, make a series of good plays and not look anywhere further, it's possible to win, but you may not win, right? You may just get to a good spot, a good position, but you still need to align to your victory condition to actually win the game, right? And just like Magic, along the way, as you go on and as you make plays, sometimes you'll make misplays. Misplays are plays that hurt you in the short term, it could hurt you in the long term, or move you away from your victory condition, or don't move you at all towards your victory condition. And just like Magic in life, you're always going to make misplays. It's just a percentage. You're trying to reduce the percentage if possible and make them minor. You're trying to learn from other people's mistakes. You're trying to watch other people play and learn what they did wrong and learn what you can do right. You're trying to do all that, but mistakes are going to happen and you have to try to learn from them and just bounce back, try not to repeat them, try to keep going, and so on and so on and so forth. So for you, if you want to make the most of this, I recommend write down what are your goals. What's your victory condition for life? You have one very specific, you have a variety underneath. What do you consider the rules of the game? Read a lot about people and society, and I think that's very important. And then 3, focus not just on good plays, but on a line that will get you towards where you're trying to get. An example of this is if your victory condition involves like living in an awesome place that you're not right now, you can move into a better apartment in your current area with friends. And that's a good play, but it's not moving you towards your victory condition, right? In order to victory condition, you may need to cut your lease and move out of the city, for example. That's one example, may not apply to you. So for me, for example, a lot of my victory condition is, I'm not going to go too in depth, but I want to travel. I want to adventure. I want to meet epic people. I want to work outside with the land. Those are certain things that I want to do. I do want to have children and a family and so on. So, and I do want to have the money to be in a good position for that and have the business so I'm safe from that and have the audience so I have people to rely on. A lot of these are part of my victory condition or steps along towards my victory condition. And as I look at the rules, it's okay. I need to learn all this about money and business and entrepreneurship and sales and how taxes work. And for my audience, I need to know how psychology works and how people think and how mass psychology works and how individual body language works, right? And I need to know how intimate relationships work and how uh, romantic relationships work. I need to know how alliances work, how tribes work. I need to learn all this stuff. So I need to really read and learn, absorb tons of content, understand the rules. And then you go and you look at my lines of play, for instance. Certainly I've made plenty of mistakes along the way, but I've also done a lot of sacrificing of pawns. I've done sacrificing of queens even. Like um, the uh, the magic thing, for instance, pro magic is not necessarily leading me towards my victory condition. It helped me along the way for sure, but it seems to even be leading away from it because it's spending more time not doing these things. It's harder to reach a larger audience through this. I'm not spending the time outside. It's taking away from time from learning. It's taking away from um, my relationships and so on. So I have to believe that it was my subconscious that sacrificed this queen and said, this play, individually play looks bad, but it's a winning line, right? So you have to look at lines. You also have to admit mistakes, Could I have done it differently, better? Yeah, for sure. But I can learn from that, and I'm in this position now, and it's a pretty good position actually, so make the most of it, right? So I hope you found that helpful. Again, you can use this, think for yourself. What's your victory condition? What are the rules? How can you learn more about the rules? how can you strategize? Are you taking time to strategize on a daily or weekly basis on plays and lines and things you can do to get to where you're trying to get, right? If you need help with that, check out my other YouTube channel, youtube.com/Travis Wu. And I invite you to check out my video course, Life Coaching, opportunity to get on the phone with me and help you win your game of life. So go check it out. Links down below. Appreciate you. Much love and look forward to seeing you on the other side. Talk soon.